Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the annual installation of officers for King David's Lodge number 209. My name is David Kotz. I am the outgoing master. At this time, I would like to introduce the installing team. Before I do, I would like to remind all guests to please silence cell phones and no moving around the lodge room or flash photography during our ceremony. Our installing chaplain will be Worshipful Peter G. Champion, past master of King David's Lodge number 209. Our master of ceremonies is Worshipful David L. Chesbrough, past master, King David's Lodge number 209. And our installing officer is the most worshipful Russell E. Charbonnier, Grand Master of Masons in California, who will be formally presented at a later time. Most worshipful, would you do us the honor of presiding over our service?
I would be happy to, but before you go riding off into the sunset, Worshipful Dave, I want to commend you on a job very well done of leading our lodge. It's been an incredible pleasure to watch you lead King David's Lodge this year. You've made us even more relevant in the community. You have brought in many fine Masons. And I want you to take a few moments to bask in the knowledge of a job very well done. We're all very grateful to you. I only said that because I thought I was going to get to keep the iPad.
That'll teach you.
Brother Master of Ceremonies, are the officers of this lodge lately chosen present, ready to be installed in their respective offices?
They are without, most worshipful sir, and await your pleasure.
Then you will conduct them to the seats prepared for them. In accordance with the teachings of our institution, it is our duty before entering upon any great or important undertaking to invoke the aid and blessing of God. Let us therefore reverently unite with our chaplain in an address to the throne of grace.
Great architect, ruler of the universe, we reverently invoke thy blessing at this time. Grant us thy aid in our present undertaking, that all we may do shall be done with an eye single to thy service and to the good of Freemasonry. May those who are now about to be invested with the government and conduct of this lodge be endued with wisdom to instruct their brethren in their duties, and may they be continually guided by the unerring counsel which thou hast given in the great book of nature and revelation. May brotherly love, relief, and truth always prevail among the members of this lodge. May they be impressed with comprehension of their duty to thee and to each other, that this lodge may be the means of lasting good in this community, and to thee we shall ascribe all the honor and glory. Amen.
So let it be. The flag Boy Scouts of America.
Sir, we have the honor to present the flag of the United States of America.
Kindly repeat with me the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You will post the flag of our country in its proper place in these.
Most worshipful sir, the officers of this lodge lately chosen are present and ready to be installed in their respective offices.
You will then present the brother who has been appointed Tyler of this lodge.
Most worshipful sir, I present to you for installation Brother Webb, who has been appointed Tyler of this lodge.
Brother Webb, you have been appointed Tyler of this lodge, and you will now be invested with the tool, with the jewel and implement of your office. As the sword is placed in the hands of the Tyler to enable him effectually to guard against the approach of Kalans and eavesdroppers, and suffer none to pass or repass, except such as are duly qualified, so should it admonish us to set a guard over our thoughts, a watch at our lips, and post a sentinel over our actions, thereby preventing the approach of every unworthy thought and deed, and preserving consciences void of offense toward God and man. You will now repair to your proper place. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will present the senior and junior stewards.
Most worshipful sir, I present to you for installation Brothers Parker and Clark, who have been appointed senior and junior stewards of this lodge.
Brothers Parker and Clark, you have been appointed stewards of this lodge, and I will now instruct you in your duties. In olden times, your province was to superintend and provide for the festivals of the craft, to assist in the collection of dues and subscriptions, to keep an account of the expenses for refreshments, and to see that the tables were properly supplied and every brother suitably provided for. In modern times, however, the provision for actual refreshments has diminished, and your principal functions will now be to prepare candidates for admission and to perform those duties which Masonic custom has assigned to you on days of procession. Receive the jewels of your office together with the white rods. You will now repair to your respective places. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will present the marshal.
Most worshipful sir, I present to you for installation Brother Pruitt, who has been appointed marshal of this lodge.
Brother Pruitt, you've been appointed marshal of this lodge, and you will now be invested with the jewel and symbol of your office. The baton is an emblem of command and is sufficiently significant of your duties. You will, under the direction of the Master, take charge of all processions of the lodge, and you are enjoined that the proper performance of many of our ceremonies will depend upon the manner with which your duties are discharged. You will now take your proper place. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will present the senior and junior deacons.
Most worshipful sir, I present to you for installation Brothers Sachs and Schlitz, who have been appointed senior and junior deacons of this lodge. This certificate vouches for their proficiency in senior deacon.
It's like a forgery to me. Brother Sachs and Schlitz, you have been appointed deacons of this lodge, and you will now be invested with the jewels of your office. Those jewels indicate that it is your province to attend upon the master and warders, and act as their proxies in the active duties of this lodge. It will be your special duty, Brother Senior Deacon, to carry orders from the worshipful master in the east to the senior warden in the west, and elsewhere about the lodge as required. Attend to all alarms at the door of the preparation room, receive and conduct candidates, introduce and accommodate visiting brethren. You, Brother Junior Deacon, to carry messages from the senior warden in the west to the junior in the south and elsewhere about the lodge as directed. Attend to all alarms at the door and see the lodge duly tiled. Those rods, my brothers, distinctive of your office, will now be entrusted to your care. Now, believing from your past deportment in the lodge that your duties will be discharged with ability and zeal, I dismiss you to your respective places. I also said ability, and I didn't see much there. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will present the chaplain.
Most worshipful sir, I present to you for installation Worshipful Champion, who has been appointed chaplain of this lodge.
Worshipful brother, that holy book which adorns our sacred altar is the great light in masonry, and forever sheds its benignant rays upon every lawful assemblage of free and accepted masons. Teach us from its life-giving precepts. Invoke upon our labors the blessing of that divine being, whose infinite goodness so fully reveals and unfolds to us. And guide us by its lessons of wisdom and truth, and you will have faithfully fulfilled your important trust. It is your duty to perform those solemn services which we should constantly render to the great Creator, and reverently to allure to brighter worlds and lead the way, and thus by elevating our thoughts, strengthening our virtues, purifying our minds, prepare us for admission into the society of the blessed in the realms of life and light eternal. It is fitting that an emblem of this sacred volume should be the jewel of your office, and with it you will now be invested. will now take your proper place. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will present the Secretary-elect.
Most worshipful sir, I present to you for installation Brother Brown, who has been elected secretary of this lodge.
I feel like I should get some kind of certificate of efficiency from this fellow. He's just learning the
He's
ropes.
still working on that.
Brother Brown, you have been elected secretary of this lodge, and you will now be invested with the jewel of your office. I am persuaded that in your hands the pens will make an enduring record, not only to your praise, but also to the welfare of this lodge. It is your duty to observe the will and pleasure of the worshipful master, keep a faithful record of all things proper to be written, transmit a copy of the same to the Grand Lodge when required, receive all monies from the brethren, pay the same to the treasurer, and take his receipt therefore. You will now take your proper place. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will present the treasurer-elect.
Most worshipful sir, I present to you for installation Brother Schatz, who has been elected treasurer of this lodge.
Brother Schatz, you have been elected treasurer of this lodge. You will now be invested with the jewel of your office. The keys have a twofold significance. They are instruments to bind as well as to make loose, to make fast as well as to open. They will never, I am confident, be used by you in any other manner than that which the Constitution, laws, and regulations of the lodge shall direct. You are to receive all money from the Secretary, keep a just and accurate account thereof, and pay the same out by order of the worshipful master with the consent of the lodge. You will now take your proper place. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will present the junior warden-elect.
Most worshipful sir, I present to you for installation Worshipful Mock, who has been elected junior warden of this lodge.
Merciful Brother Mock, you have been elected junior warden of this lodge, and you will now be invested with the jewel of your station.
I'm pretty sure this certificate vouches.
The plum, my brother, admonishes us to walk uprightly in our several stations, to hold the scales of justice in equal poise, to observe the just medium between intemperance and pleasure, and to make our passions and prejudices coincide with the line of our duty. To you is committed the superintendence of the craft during the hours of refreshment. It is necessary, therefore, that you should practice moderation and discretion in the indulgence of your own inclinations, and that you carefully observe that the means of refreshment are not converted to improper or excessive use. Your regular and punctual attendance is particularly requested, and I have no doubt that you will faithfully execute the duty which you owe to your present appointment. Look well to the south. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will present the senior warden-elect.
Most worshipful sir, I present to you for installation Worshipful Betancourt, who has been elected senior warden of this lodge. He is of good morals, true and trusty, and possesses the love and confidence of his brethren. This certificate vouches for his proficiency.
Brother Betancourt, you have been elected senior warden of this lodge, and you will now be invested with the jewel of your station. The level, my brother, demonstrates that we are descended from the same stock, that we partake of the same nature, and share the same hope. And that although distinctions among men are necessary to preserve subordination, yet no eminence of station should make us forget that we are brethren. For he who is placed on the lowest spoke of fortune's wheel may be entitled to our regard, because a time will come, and the wisest know not how soon, when all distinctions, save that of goodness, shall cease. Death, the mighty lever of human goodness, reduce us to the same state. Your regular attendance on our state meetings is essential. In the absence of the master, you are to govern the lodge. In his presence, you are to assist him in the government of it. I firmly rely on your knowledge of masonry and attachment to the lodge for the faithful discharge of the duties of this important trust. Look well to the west.
basement downstairs, most worshipful, big screen TV.
We can come back and do this another day.
Wait, no, scratch that.
Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will now present the brother who has been elected to discharge the important duties of Master of this lodge.
Most worshipful sir, I take pleasure in presenting to you Brother Morano, who has been duly elected to serve as master of this lodge.
Is it known that Brother Morano is well skilled in our ancient craft? Is he zealous in his regard for the interests of our order? And is he duly qualified to discharge the special duties of the Master's chair?
It is well known that he is all of this, most worshipful sir. The certificate vouching for his proficiency is evidence that he is well skilled on our ancient craft. I find him to be of good morals, true and trusty, and as he is a member of the fraternity, I doubt not that he will discharge his duties with fidelity and honor.
Worshipful sir, the brethren of this lodge, reposing confidence in your integrity, in your zealous regard for the interests of Masonry, and in your ability to discharge the duties of the Master's chair, have chosen you to occupy that honorable position during the ensuing year. Are you willing to accept this important trust?
I am.
Then, my brother, I shall most cheerfully proceed to install you in the dignified and honorable position to which the suffrage of your brethren has called you, not doubting that the dignity of the Oriental chair will be well preserved in your keeping, and that the interest and welfare of this lodge may be safely confided to your charge. Before commencing your investiture, however, it is necessary that you should signify your assent to those ancient charges and regulations which point out the duties of the master of a lodge, and which on no account are ever to be neglected or departed from. They are as follows. You agree to be a good man and true, and strictly to obey the moral law. You agree to be a peaceful citizen, and cheerfully to conform to the laws of the country in which you reside. You promise not to be concerned in plots and conspiracies against government, but patiently to submit to the decision of the Supreme Legislature. You agree to pay a proper respect to the civil magistrate, to work diligently, live creditably, and act honorably by all men. You agree to hold in veneration the original rulers and patrons of the Order of Masonry and their regular successors, supreme and subordinate, according to their stations, and to submit to the awards and resolutions of your brethren when convenient, in every case consistent with the constitutions of the order. You agree to avoid private piques and quarrels, and to guard against intemperance and excess. You agree to be cautious in carriage and behavior, courteous to your brethren, and faithful to your lodge. You promise to respect genuine brethren, and to discountenance impostors and all dissenters from the original plan of Masonry. You agree to promote the general good of society, to cultivate the social virtues, and to propagate the knowledge of the art. Now, here's the important one. You promise to pay homage to the Grand Master for the time being, and to his officers when duly installed, and strictly to conform to every edict of the Grand Lodge or General Assembly of Masons that is not subversive of the principles and groundwork of Masonry. You admit that it is not in the power of any man or body of man to make innovations in the body of Masonry. You promise a regular attendance on the committees and communications of the Grand Lodge on receiving proper notice, and to pay attention to all the duties of Masonry on convenient occasions. You admit that no new lodge should be formed without permission of the Grand Lodge, and that no countenance should be given to any irregular lodge, or to any person clandestinely initiated therein, being contrary to the ancient charges of the order. You admit that no person can be regularly made a Mason in or admitted a member of any regular lodge without previous notice and due inquiry into his character. You agree that no visitors shall be received into your lodge without due examination and producing proper vouchers of their having been initiated in a regular lodge. These are among the ancient charges and regulations of free and accepted Masons. To these your assent must be freely given. Do you submit to these charges and promise to support these regulations, as masters have done in all ages before you?
I do.
Then, my brother, in consequence of this assurance, and with full confidence in your capacity and zeal, I will now install you Master of King David's Lodge, number 209. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will invest him with the jewel of the station. The square, my brother, is an emblem of morality, and as it is the especial badge of the Master's office, it should constantly remind you that not only by precept, but by example, you should promote good morals among the brethren, and thus endeavor to avert the shadow of any scandal or reproach against the fraternity. Your former life has given evidence that this jewel will not be an unmeaning symbol in your hands, and I solemnly charge you to take good care that its luster not be dimmed through any act of yours. I now present to you the Book of Holy Writings. It is the great light in Masonry, and should ever be the great law of the brotherhood. It will guide you to all truth. It will direct you to eternal happiness, and in attentive regard to the divine precepts it contains, will ensure you success in the fulfillment of the duties you are now about to assume. The working tools of our craft will next be presented to you, that as the master workman, you may instruct the craftsmen in the various duties and virtues which they have been selected to illustrate. The square teaches us well to regulate our every action and to let our conduct be governed by the principles of morality and virtue. The compasses teach us to limit our desires in every stage and never to suffer our passions or prejudices to become the masters of our judgment. The rule directs the undeviating discharge of all our duties, that we should press forward in the straight path of right and truth, without inclining to the one hand or the other, in all our doings having eternity in view. The plum is an emblem of moral rectitude. It teaches us to avoid all dissimulation and to pursue that honest and upright course in life, which will tend to lead to our elevation in the higher realms of immortality. There are still other important things which you will receive in charge. This book of constitutions you are expected diligently to search, and from time to time to cause its contents to be read in your lodge, that none may remain ignorant of the precepts it enjoins, or of the ordinances which it promulgates. This book contains the bylaws of your lodge, which it will be your especial duty to see carefully and punctually execute. And this is the charter, under the authority of which your lodge is held, and which you are carefully to preserve and duly transmit to your successor in the master's chair. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will conduct the master to his station in the east. I congratulate you on your ascension to this time-honored seat. The duties incumbent upon you in your exalted station are fraught with grave responsibilities. Remember that the honor, reputation, and usefulness of your lodge will materially depend upon the skill and assiduity with which you manage its concerns, and that the happiness of its members will be generally promoted in proportion to the watchful care with which you cherish the genuine principles of our institution. For a pattern of imitation, consider the great luminary of nature, which rising in the east regularly diffuses light and luster all within its circle. In like manner, it is your province to spread and communicate light and instruction to the brethren of your lodge. Forcibly impress upon them the dignity and high importance of masonry, and seriously admonish them never to disgrace it. Charge them to practice out of the lodge those duties which they have been taught in it, and by amiable, discreet, and virtuous conduct, to convince mankind of the goodness of this institution, so that when a person is said to be a member of it, the world may know that he is one to whom the burdened heart may pour out its sorrow, one to whom distress may prefer its suit, and one whose hand is guided by justice, and whose heart is expanded by benevolence. In short, by a diligent observance of the bylaws of your lodge, the constitutions of masonry, and above all the Holy Scriptures, which are given as the rule and guide of your faith, you will be enabled to acquit yourself with the highest honors here, and lay up a crown of rejoicing when time shall be no more. Brother Senior and Junior Wardens, you are too well acquainted with the principles of masonry to warrant any distrust that you will be found wanting in the discharge of your respective duties. Suffice it to say that what you have seen praiseworthy in others, you should carefully imitate. And what in them may appear defective, you should yourselves avoid. You should be examples of discretion and propriety, for it is only by due regard for our laws and regulations, as shown in your conduct, that you can expect obedience to them from others. You are assiduously to assist the Master in the discharge of his trust, diffusing light and imparting knowledge to all whom you shall place under your care. In the absence of the Master, you will succeed to higher duties. Your requirements must, therefore, be such as will ensure proper instruction to the craft. From the spirit which you have hitherto evinced, I entertain no doubt that your future conduct will be such as will merit the applause of your brethren and the testimony of a good conscience. Now, these two raps are only for the brethren of King David's Lodge number 209. Brethren of King David's Lodge number 209, such is the nature of our Constitution, that as some must of necessity rule and teach, so must others, of course, learn to submit and obey. Humility in both is an essential duty. The officers who have been chosen to govern your lodge are sufficiently conversant with the rules of propriety and the laws of the institution to avoid exceeding the power with which they are entrusted. And you are of too generous disposition to envy their preferment. I therefore trust that you will have but one aim, to please one another and unite in the grand design of promoting happiness. Finally, my brethren, as this association has been formed and perfected in so much unanimity and concord, so may it long continue. May you long enjoy every satisfaction and delight which friendship can afford. May kindness and brotherly affection distinguish your conduct as men and as masons. Within your peaceful walls, may your children's children celebrate with joy and gratitude the annual recurrence of this auspicious solemnity. And may the tenets of our profession be transmitted through this lodge, pure and unimpaired, from generation to generation. Worshipful Master, It now remains for me to present to you the gavel, the emblem of power. In the hands of the master it may be made an instrument of great good or of greater evil. With it the master governs his lodge, and the welfare and prosperity of your lodge will in great measure depend upon its judicious use. In your hands, I am confident it will be wielded for the best interests of your brethren. Brother Master of Ceremonies, you will now make the proclamation.
By order of the Most Worshipful Grand Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons of the State of California, I now proclaim the officers of King David's Lodge number 209 duly installed.
All the brethren well under the direction of the Master of Ceremonies salute the Worshipful Master by the battle of 3 times 3.
Together, brethren.
Worshipful Master, behold your brethren. Brethren, behold your Master.
Thank you, Mr. Worshipful Rush. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and guests. I thank Most Worshipful Russ and the rest of our installing team for performing this good to us. Good afternoon again, and thank you for being here with us today. It's appropriate for me at this time to make some introductions. First and foremost, I'd like to introduce the past masters of King David's Lodge. Would the following past masters please stand when their name is called and remain standing until I have introduced all of you. And please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Worshipful Brother Robert Betancourt, past master 2010 and 2012. Worshipful Brother Peter Champion, past master 2013. Worshipful Brother Bill Edwards, past master 1976. Worshipful Brother Phil Manasey, past master 1996. Worshipful Brother Ian Hughes, past master 1984. Worshipful Brother Ron Ritter, past master 2008 and 2009. Worshipful Brother Phil Long, past master 2011. Worshipful Brother David Chesbrough, past master 2006. Worshipful Brother Anton Kramer, past master 1974. Any other past masters of King David's Lodge that I have not yet introduced? Worshipful Bud Butner. Worshipful Brother Bud Butner was past master 2002. And Worshipful Brother David Goff, past master 2014. My worthy brethren, by your leave, I will continue to serve this lodge and this fraternity with loyalty, trust, and respect. Thank you for carrying the torch of Masonic light, and I will endeavor to bear the same with fervor and zeal. Will all masters and masters-elect please stand for group recognition? all Hiram Award recipients, please stand at this time. Ladies and gentlemen, the Hiram Award is the official recognition of a brother by his lodge for his devoted service to that lodge and to the Masonic principles in general. The recipients of this award were deemed to be the unsung heroes of their respected lodges. They are the living cement that binds our fraternity into a true brotherhood. Aside from being elected as master, the Hiram Award is the highest honor that can be conferred upon a member by his own lodge. Please give them a And now call on our newly installed officers to introduce their wives, ladies, or any special guests. We will give their due applause when all have been introduced. Start with Brother Junior Stewart. Please introduce Stewart.
Worshipful, my immediate family is not here, but an extended Masonic family from Eastern Star and Rainbow is in attendance.
Welcome. Brother Senior Stewart.
Worshipful, I'm supported by my girlfriend Esmeralda.
Brother Marshall.
Worshipful, my wife, Neil.
Brother Senior Deacon.
I'd like to introduce my wife, Melanie, and my spiritual warrior son, Jabeth, and shield mate, Laramie Jeffries, his girlfriend.
Brother Chaplain.
My awesome, fantastic wife of almost 45 years, Janice.
Brother Secretary.
My wife, Pat, who's also our photographer today.
Brother Treasurer.
I'm happy to introduce my wife, Tammy Jones.
Brother Junior Warden.
My mother, Sherry, my father, Tony, my wife, Elena, my daughter, Leah, and my son, Elias.
Thank you, brothers, and thank you for your young ones. I now take pleasure in introducing Mrs. Mara Cristina Morano, the wife, the first, the last, and
Okay.
And these two boys are the blessings bestowed upon us, Damien and Sebastian. At this point, I would like to call upon the worshipful brother, Rod Smiley, Inspector of the 501st Masonic District, to introduce the Grand Lodge officers and Grand Lodge committeemen and board members. Worshipful brother Rod.
Good afternoon. It is now my honor to introduce the Grand Lodge officers and committeemen. Please hold all applause until I'm done with introductions. First, and remain standing as I introduce you. Worshipful David Koss, past pastor, Membership Development Committee, Grand Lodge. Brother Larry Cook, Youth Orders Committee, Grand Lodge. I would now like to introduce from Morro Bay, a past master of King David's Lodge number 209, the Grand Pursuivant, the Worshipful Peter G. Champion, and his wife, Jan. From San Pedro, a past master of Los Angeles Harbor Lodge number 332, the Senior Grand Deacon, the Worshipful M. Sean Donahue, and his wife, Dina. privilege and honor to introduce the Grand Master's wife, Linda Chavonia. At this time, I would normally read a biography for the Grand Master, and it's quite long and lengthy. And there's also a short bio, which the Grand Master has asked me today to forego. He wants the light to remain on the officers and the members of this lodge. It's more important for this day to be about you than to be about him, which I thought was really nice. It saves me from having to read a really long bio. Brethren, ladies, and guests, it is my honor to present the 149th Grand Master of Masons in California, Most Merciful Russell E. Chavonia.
Thank you, Worshipful Brother Adam. Thank you again, Most Worshipful Ross, and welcome to you, another distinguished brother. I also extend our warmest welcome to Mrs. Linda Chavonia and the rest of the ladies in the Grand family. Before I forget, I have another bouquet of flowers here. Everyone here present, I thank you again from the bottom of my heart for being here today. I know we have a lot of brothers who traveled to come here today from the north, from the south, and within the local lodges. Thank you very much. To my officers, and again to all Masons, side by side and shoulder to shoulder, you and I and millions of our brethren bear each our torch of Masonry. Let us hold them high aloft, no matter how hard the way or rough the path. For the honor of those from whom we took the holy fire, and for the sake of those to whom one day we must hand it on. And brothers, these words by Brother Claudio reminds us to honor the past by taking care of the future. I'm sure many will agree that the duties of a Mason are many and varied, and the tumultuous affairs in this day and age often challenge us, our conviction and fidelity towards our Masonic ideals and virtues. But knowing that we are not alone should encourage us to continue to live up to those ideals and to practice those virtues we all have been instructed. The future of Masonry depends largely on how we now carry the torch. Much like our experience in the craft, at this very moment, we're somehow influenced by those who held the light, so that we may see the path towards the door of Masonry and what lies within it. Now, my brothers, it is time to shine our torches beyond the walls of the lodge. The fraternity and its reputation do not depend on what we think of ourselves, but how the world thinks of us. Most Worshipful Ross urges us to repair the world by improving ourselves. Another way to repair the world is by protecting and guiding the next generation through the light of Masonry. Let us strive to be at the forefront of initiating civility, passing virtues, and raising a sublime future. For I tell you, my brethren, the future needs Masonry as much as Masonry needs the future. Thank you. We now have some presentations. Again, it is indeed an honor to be installed today by Worshipful Brothers Peter and Dave, and Most Worshipful Russ. Apart from being the Grand Pursuant, the Grand Illustrious Master of Cryptic Masons, and Grand Master of Masons in California, respectively, All three are members of King David's Lodge. As a token of my appreciation, I would like to present each one of you with this pen, an instrument which is said to be mightier than the sword, one that can be used to inspire or to incite. I hope that they can be of use to your administrative and non-trivial works, Masonic or otherwise.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Worshipful Brother David Cox, would you please meet me west of the altar?
Joe, got you waiting.
Well, David, thank you very much for your service to this lodge and receiving me here. And the lodge is happy to present you with your past master apron, a token of our appreciation.
I was told to stay here and shut up. Hard for me to do.
Thank you, Worshipful. Our Worshipful Brother Cos, what a wonderful year we had together in 2014. I had 5 of these hats made up. This is yours. 4 of us are past masters. 1 is still a sitting master, Most Worshipful Charbonnier. Please wear that in remembrance of our year together, and always as you continue your career in the military. Thank you, sir.
That's what I appreciate.
Dave, please extend the lodge's sincerest appreciation also to your lady, Kathy.
I will, Worshipful. Thank you.
Thank you. Many have aided in making today's ceremony a special affair. I'm now inclined to acknowledge some of them. For music, Dr. Michael Walker, adjunct professor of music at Cuesta College, for sharing his talent today, as well as Brother Josh Wisniewski, for arranging with Dr. Walker the pieces of music that we played today, from Mozart's Masonic music, Haydn, and even his own very own work. I'd like to take the moment to thank Mrs. Pat Brown for again lending her skills as photographer for our events. And also to those who have pictures and videos, thank you. Please share them with us. We have a Facebook page, facebook.com/KDL209. Very easy. Our host and hostess for today were Brother Cyrus Nordike and his lady April. Matron of Corona Chapter Order of Eastern Star. Thank you. And the Cub Scouts, Sebastian and David, great job. Thank you. There's one other introduction that we're not made. Worshipful Brother Dave Chesbro. Would you please introduce your lady?
Oh, certainly. My wife, Sarah.
I invite you all, brethren and guests, into our dining hall for food and fellowship. But please allow the officers to leave the lodge room first so that we may greet you as you get there. Brother Chaplain, please lead our devotions to conclude this ceremony of installation.
We assume ask for a prayer. Supreme Grand Master, ruler of heaven and earth, who in thy infinite wisdom hath raised up 145 successors of faithful officers for this lodge, may you endow each brother and officer with every good and perfect gift while traveling the rugged road of life. We beseech thee thy guidance, that in our daily lives, within and without the lodge, we will become examples of our Masonic principles. That our lodge may be as peaceful as the ark, our praise to thee as grateful as incense, and our charity as diffuse as fragrance of a breeze. Amen.
So may it be.
Most worshipful us, with you and